Now, everyone loves a derby day, don't they? No matter where you are, the same feelings unite fan bases and people together. From the pre-match nerves you get on the day to the pure passion come kick-off. The We Love Sport app brings fans of teams and sport together, highlighting the best places to watch your team battle it out against your fierce rivals, as well as a haven of sporting action. Download the We Love Sport app via the link in the podcast description, or simply search We Love Sport on your preferred app store and get in on the action now. This is Manchester United versus Liverpool, and this is Derby Days. We're of course here with Andy from Stretford Paddock and with Gareth from the Anfield Wrap. Lads, you're sitting close together. Things have been quite friendly so far. Do you think it'll be like that come match day, Gareth?
No. I think it's fair to say no. The one thing I love about when Liverpool play Manchester United or when we go to Old Trafford is that there's still an edge to it. I think, a lot of football's been sanitised from when I first started going to the match in the 90s to now. It's changed. The makeup of the crowds have changed. Loads of, it's a different beast these days. But I think this is one game where the atmosphere still hangs there, where there's an edge to it. And it's a little bit of a hatred in a football way, hatred in the right way. And I don't think you should try and take that out of football because that's what makes those games special.
100% agree with you. It's tribal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Andy will know as well. We want to beat each of the two cities and each of the two populations and the sets of people and the sets of supporters. You want to outdo the other one in every possible way. As a city, in terms of the clothes you wear, in terms of the bands, in terms of the football teams, in terms of everything really. Yeah. So that, and that goes back way back when, and obviously, every time we have this game, people start talking about ship canals and motorways and whatever it might be, or all the history of the two cities.
The Cavern Club, the Hacienda.
All of that, because we're two proud northern cities, two proud northern populations, and look. The unsaid thing about it is that we're actually quite similar. I mean, I worked in Manchester for 10 years and I've actually got a lot of Manc friends, but all that gets forgotten about when we play them.
Andy, is it the biggest game in the Premier League?
I would say it is, yeah, because I can go back further. I grew up, it was Liverpool all the way, and it still is today. Certain other clubs try to muscle in it and claim to be part of the elite, but not. It's always United, Liverpool.
You mean City there, right?
Yeah, really, City. But City have only been on the scene 10 years, but it's always been United, Liverpool.
Well, Ronnie's back in Manchester. How are you feeling so far about the return of the chosen one?
Emotional. It was an emotional roller coaster for a couple of days. I thought you can't go there, can you? You can't go across town, but he didn't, and it was all, like I say, part of the master plan. So I had a pop at Knoll after we beat them. We beat Newcastle and emotions were running high. Everybody was on a high. I seen grown men crying. I mean, when Ronaldo scored at Stretford End, I had a tear in my eye. It was really emotional for me. But so Ronaldo, it's not gone to plan last two games, but hopefully he'll get back on track.
Is there an element, and I think a lot of people thought this when Ronaldo re-signed, of he's going to do very well personally because the team kind of is built around him and that's what he does and he's the biggest superstar in world football. That might detract generally from the way the team play overall. Do you think there's been any of that?
Oh yeah, if you can't supply him, what can he do? He's 36. We had a moment against Villarreal, beautiful. Last minute emotion at Stretford End, but where was his supply against Newcastle? He was substituted against Everton. Sorry, he wasn't on. He didn't get the supply against Aston Villa. He wasn't on against Everton, which was a real shocker. And the manager's been criticised for it. And hopefully, he's got to learn from his mistakes and fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not supplying the front line, you're not going to get the goals and you're going to get the criticism. And now we live in this technology tech world. If you can't take the criticism, don't go on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Gareth, what did you make of the return of Ronaldo to United?
Yeah, an interesting one, I would say. I mean, look, I get what Andy's saying about the sort of emotional side of it, and we had that in sorts, if you like, when Robbie Fowler came back to Liverpool, and we're all delighted that a legend came back and played for us once more. But I wonder how much emotions clouded the whole thing, really, because to me, I think he's the top paid player in the league now, isn't he? And he's 36. There was a 20 million or so fee around them as well. And I look at it obviously from the outside, and I just think, well, how much is that going to upset the apple cart in terms of, you know, the team spirit? We've already seen little bits with who's going to take the penalties. Andy mentioned, obviously, as soon as you drop them against Everton, everyone's talking about, well, how can you drop Ronaldo? And then, you know, there's the video kicking round of Ferguson saying you start your best players.
Yeah.
And, you know, it starts a little bit of a ball rolling about, you know, a drama, a problem, and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of thought that might happen. And you know, obviously from a Liverpool perspective, long may that continue. And I think when you look at how he got on against Juventus, obviously, for Juventus, obviously top scorer in Serie A, but Juventus themselves struggled.
Yeah.
And he, you know, so he got his numbers, if you like, but he didn't sort of particularly push the team on. And I kind of wonder if it'll be a similar situation at United. He's always going to score goals, but, you know, he's not the Ronaldo of old, is he?
Just out of respect, though, Juventus were in the Champions League fight up to the last day of the season. They got it. 4 days, they picked out Atlanta, and then they won the Italian Cup, and he scored in the cup final.
Yeah,
so Ronaldo will still have his moments. And if that's what we get this season, player. I will take it.
Okay, but you don't think there's maybe, so for example, Sancho hasn't really hit the ground running, and there's maybe question marks around whether Ronaldo even being in the team means the focus is wrong. It's a young, quick counter-attacking team that can potentially play nice patterns of football. If you've got an older player who's quite static up front, that's maybe not the best for your overall game plan.
No, because them players should inspire from him and play to supply him. If Rashford, Sancho, Varane, Champions League winner as well, the United players who are on that pitch, who were there last season, if that ain't motivation to up your game, and in the last 2 games they've not upped the game, you don't know what to do. They've got to up the game to put some of them players now.
So Andy, let me ask you honestly, who would you rather have in your team? Mo Salah or Cristiano Ronaldo right now?
I'd have Ronaldo.
Come on.
No, I'm sorry, mate. He's Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League winner. He's won everything on the planet. Mo Salah's won 1 European Cup. Now, his goal against City and the Premier League, his goal against City, that was par with Messi, I'll give him that. But Mo Salah, where was Mo Salah last season? He was just off the pace. Now, Salah's coming back into form, I'll give him that. And that goal against City was tasty. That was Messi-esque. But, he's a good player.
That's the best you're going to get, he's a good player.
No, that's his opinion, and he's entitled to it because he's their number 1 player, and Ronaldo's our star player.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of opinion. But Salah at the moment is doing the business. Ronaldo is not, but I would still have Ronaldo.
I mean, fair enough. I did expect you to say that, but I thought surely he can't. But fair enough. Yeah, that's your opinion. Mo Salah is in red hot form, as Andy's admitted. What's the difference this year? Is it as simple? Because I sort of kind of thought, as you do, like lazy football fans, you just think whatever's happening now is what's going to keep happening. So I thought, Liverpool were a bit off it last year. It'll be the same again. You look great at the moment. You look really, really good. Yeah. Is it Salah back in form, or is it Van Dijk being back in the team? What's the difference?
It's a bit of everything, to be honest with you. I think there was just sort of collective malaise last season. Obviously, we had the situation around centre-halves where we end up playing, you know, rookies there, and we end up playing midfielders there. You know, even when we're playing against United, we're playing Fabinho and Henderson at centre-half and things like that. You know, it's a huge difference to have Van Dijk back. But I think Mo, you know, he did go through a bit of a lean patch last season, as did all of Liverpool's forwards. And that was during that malaise that I'm talking about. I think they all started feeling a little bit sorry for themselves. Everyone was in the same boat of no fans being there. And I think, you know, that hurt us as fans, because we would have pushed them on, no 2 ways about it. You know, you run further, you've got the blood pumping when you've got the fans behind you. They didn't have that. They had that awful run at Anfield, which is, you know, one of the worst I've ever known as a fan, and that says it all, really. Like, we weren't there. But now it's the complete opposite in that, you know, Mo's on fire, he's loving the support he's getting, he's talked about that, you know, he's whipping his top off in front of the cop and things like that. And I think he's just at the very peak of his game now. I mean, there's all the chat about shouldn't he be given this, you know, big contract, become Liverpool's highest earner ever. Absolutely he should. Because I think what Ronaldo shows is that players can now play on longer than they once did.
Yeah,
you know, when me and Andy first start going to match, you know, players hitting the 30s, that was the end of the career, really.
Yeah.
But now they're looking after themselves. They've got the sports science. Mo's teetotal.
Yeah.
When he's whipping that top off, he's in unbelievable shape.
Yeah.
And so, for me, you get him signed up, you tie him down for the peak of his career, and you let him keep going at all the records he keeps breaking. I mean, it's mad for me that he's in the top 10 of Liverpool's goal scorers of all time already, and he hasn't finished yet.
Well, this is what I wanted to ask. Where does he rank with your kind of Kenny Dalglish, Steven Gerrard? Where does he rank along the great Liverpool players?
Right up there, absolutely right up there. I mean, for me, my hero growing up was John Barnes, and I thought I'd never see anyone with the talent of him. John Barnes is still in my all-time Liverpool 11 on the left-hand side, but Mo's going to be on the right-hand side, no two ways about it. And then you're going to have Rushy and Dalglish up front. But you listen to how those legends talk about Mo. Rushy was out there, saying the other day that Mo should get signed up, give him this new contract. He is that good, and I get from the outside, it was seen that he had some kind of dip. But look into the records. Like every season for Liverpool since he's come here, he's absolutely smashed it in terms of goal scoring. Obviously, it's 40-odd first season, and I almost think is there like a psychological thing from outside where everyone goes, oh well, he's never at that level. He's consistently been brilliant for Liverpool and consistently good in big matches as well, which is why going to Old Trafford with Mo Salah on board, I'm quite confident about it.
He scored a goal against Spurs at Anfield, actually. I think Jan Vertonghen's probably still got PTSD from it. I remember.
It was fantastic, yeah.
Face down on the turf, looking round as the ball goes. Oh dear. I still have dreams about that, nightmares, I should say. Andy, let's talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, it's the big thing that splits United fans. And he's not. I don't think anybody can say that Ole's done a bad job, but is he the right man for the job at that club?
He has taken us from we were in a bad way in 2018. I stopped going when Mourinho. After I just stopped going for a while. Spent time with my family. The football was negative. There was bad vibes around the ground. We're in a dressing room, and I remember when he got sacked. Somebody come into me yelling in the stock room, "Not Jose's been sacked." And it's like Ollie's coming in. It's like, bloody hell, that's not bad for a Monday morning. But that was just after they beat us 3-1. I remember it. Yeah, that was his last game, Mourinho. He steadied his ship. And I think a lot of it's been built on emotion. And we had a feel good. We had a good ride. We were unbeaten for like 17 games, and the wheels came off. We were like third. Obviously beating PSG.
Yeah.
That pushed everybody to like overdrive. Oh, this is fantastic. And we fell short. Yeah. We just missed out on Champions League. I mean, that season. But he signed his contract, and for the last couple of seasons he's been building well. He's got the right players in now, and there's a nice vibe around the club. So it's nice. So what? You've got to be more than nice.
Yeah.
You've got to be ruthless, determination. That's what they've got. City's got it. Chelsea's got it. I don't want to be like a holiday camp. I want to be ruthless, like a dictatorship. No, I just want to win.
Yeah.
But you can be nice at the same time. Not wrong with that. And Ole has got to start doing that.
Yeah.
Now, you've seen in the big games, you know he can do it. He's done Klopp 2 seasons ago. He was in immense pressure. He beat Spurs, beat City. Yeah. Got a draw with Liverpool. And he went on another run again. So, it's in his arsenal. But he doesn't make substitutions at the right time.
That's the thing, isn't it? Formations,
and I'm not looking at Ole personally. I'm looking at his backroom staff. Because it's too friendly, it's too pally, and I'm sick of it. Now, if they up the game, I'm not saying replace him. If they start being a bit more nasty, sod the players' feelings. If them players want to be a set of winners, I'm sure they do. But if they don't up the game, you know where the door is. And you've seen Ronaldo. He wasn't happy against Everton. And we've got a run of games coming up now, and it's big run of games coming up. We've got Liverpool, we've got was it Leicester before that? We've got City, Tottenham in between, Champions League. It's make or break month for the club.
Yeah.
But he'll still be there by the end of the season. Let's just see where we go with him. But he has to challenge this season, and he has to win something. League Cup's gone. Very disappointed. Really angry after 2 previous semi-finals. Like, you go for everything, don't you? You go for everything. That's what you do. FA Cup takes on more importance as well.
Yeah.
The FA Cup quarter-final defeat to Leicester last season still lingers with me. Because he just shrug it off. They just shrug it off. It means more to win a trophy.
So what's realistic then? Because in the Premier League, City is starting to look good again. Liverpool looking good. I've said I think Chelsea look great. And I mean, I know they've not been excellent the last few weeks, but they've just got the most complete squad for me. And the manager's got a real clear tactical vision. Is the Premier League realistic for United?
It should be. With the squad, they've got no excuses on injuries and all that. Them players have got to rise to the occasion now, so's the management. Because I watched Chelsea after Southampton equalised.
Yep.
They were 10 men and Chelsea kept pushing and they got them goals. I watched the Liverpool City game. That was like endless football. It was brilliant. Brilliant game to watch.
Yeah.
The desire from everybody. I mean, that was it. Fabinho, how did he didn't score it at the end.
Oh, I know.
How he didn't score.
Because he had an hour to put it in, didn't he?
Great defending, but that's the football I want to see United play, but in our way. And we have to rise up now. If we challenge and we lose it, we're 2-3 games to go. That's all right. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Quarterfinals of the Champions League, semi-finals, win an FA Cup. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I just want a challenge. I'm not saying we demand a challenge now. I'm not saying we demand to win it. We demand a challenge.
Yeah.
And Roy Keane the other week, the other night, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher saying it like that. They're making excuses for him already. No excuses now.
Yeah.
You've got the team. You've got what you wanted. Deliver.
Yeah.
Deliver. And if you deliver, you will be loved. Because if you can give us a title challenge and we fall short, then we know you can do it.
But has he got the team though? Because there's there's question marks about that midfield 3, isn't it? And I think Scott McTominay's a good player, but a lot of people look at Fred and say maybe he's not the right man in that position. Are you maybe one player short there?
You got Donny van der Beek.
Yeah, that's true.
You got Donny van der Beek. I mean, I think it's personal.
Should have played 5 minutes, hasn't he, this season?
I know. I mean, he would get into a Liverpool side. I think he would. I think he'd get into a City side. I'd get into a Chelsea side.
Get into the Tottenham team, mate.
Tottenham, Arsenal. No, honestly, Everton. Getting any Premiership side.
Yeah.
They would love to have him. I mean, the running. He played so well on that Ajax run to the Champions League semi-final, and he's like, I think he was just bought to please us. The fans.
Yeah.
I think it's personal. I don't know if it's Ole. I don't know if it's the management team behind the scenes. He's just been treated wrongly and disrespected. And I want to see. He spat his dummy out against Villarreal. I want to see that. He's upset. He's angry.
Yeah.
It's what you want to see. You want to play.
Yeah.
Because there's many players who want to just pick up a paycheck and just sit on the bench. You've seen it over the years at Arsenal. But you just want to play. Let him play. And if he doesn't work out, that's fair enough. At least you've tried it.
Yeah.
He's over the summer, he's built up physically, he's on a training programme, he's done what the club have asked him.
Yeah.
I've seen him in pre-season, in the friendlies, he was really good. And he played really good against West Ham in the League Cup. And what's your reward, lad? You're on the bench against Villa.
Yeah, there's no motivation.
So, no, I'm not having it. So
Gareth, Liverpool, what's realistic for you this season? Going for everything?
Going for everything, yeah. Like Andy said, that should always be the aim. That's always what I want to see as a fan. I know it's been levelled at Klopp in the past that he's not sort of taken the domestic cups as seriously as perhaps he should. I would counter that slightly to say we just always seem to have got tough draws for quite a while now. Obviously went out to Manchester United last year in the FA Cup, drawing Premier League teams again this time around, albeit we've managed to get past Norwich in the League Cup. But so yeah, I want to see us going for everything. I think last season, as we sort of touched on before, was a little bit of a write-off. We turned it round late on, went on that run, managed to get third place, which was brilliant in the circumstances. I almost feel like, and I know this might sound daft to people who don't support Liverpool, but I almost feel like we sort of didn't defend the title because we didn't have the crowd and because it wasn't normal circumstances.
Yeah.
And now I sort of feel like this is the defence of the title. And I also think that's like a huge motivating factor for this squad, for Jurgen Klopp, in that they saw what Liverpool was like as a city when we won the European Cup. There was 1 million people out on the streets, parties everywhere. And, you know, the footage of them on the bus was brilliant. Like, you know, you could tell the players were like, wow. And so it would have been that times 5, times 10 after 30 years of waiting to win the league. You know, we'd all been planning what that party was going to look like. And then that was sort of taken away from us. So I think the fans, the club, Klopp, the players, they all want to do it. They want to win it again and have that party. Do it properly. Do it with the fans in. Do it with a packed cop and all the rest of it. So I think that's what will push them on. And I've got to say, I've been surprised by how Liverpool have been discussed up to this point. You know, sort of pre-season, I think there was 20 BBC pundits who were asked, you know, who will win the league, who will come second, who will come third, and no one fancied Liverpool whatsoever. And I'm surprised by that because, okay, I'm biased, I'm a Liverpool fan, but this group of players, bar Ronaldo, who's gone, you know, got 97 points, got 99 points, and absolutely, you know, the season we win the league, we absolutely blew everyone away.
Yeah.
You know, we're coming on to it, I think, favourite moments against United, but, you know, a little spoiler, when we beat United at Anfield and the cop let itself go and finally sang, we're going to win the league.
Yeah.
We were 16 points clear at that point. And we were unbeaten in 39 league games. So I don't see that there's been this huge drop-off collectively that means they can't post them kinds of figures again. It's early doors, of course, and, you know, we've had 1 or 2 injuries, but, you know, get the win behind us injury-wise. Maybe do something in January as well, because people were disappointed we didn't do something in the summer.
Where would you be looking in January?
I still think we could do with another forward. That was what most of us were talking about, because you've got Divock, who has been around forever now, and just, you know, you keep thinking his career's over, and then he pops up and does something else. And look, he's a bit of a cult hero. I like him, but I equally think you can upgrade on him. You know, there can be someone else, and that's where we were all a little bit disappointed Liverpool didn't do some business. Will they in January? We will see. And it's meant that people are leveling stuff at the owners and stuff like that, and that's dragged the mood down a little bit. I think Liverpool, we're all waiting now to see what they are and what they're about. And, you know, I obviously really wanted us to beat City, and we almost did. You know, we come back, but then they get that equaliser. But I thought if we could have beat them, that was the statement performance. Then that washes away the negativity, and everyone gets behind. This is a title charge. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we need a big result, a big performance, a big showing, and everyone to get on board with the idea once more that we can go and push for the title. I think we can. You know, I'm positive about it. But like every group of supporters, we've got the glass half empty lads as well who say we can't do it.
It depends on what your result was the previous weekend about where you think your team's going to finish in the Premier League.
I mean, I say he's right. In the Liverpool dressing room, you know, there's a point to prove. I see a desire and a wanting to prove a point, and I respect that, because United had that in the old days, and I want to see that in our dressing room. Point to prove. We've got a point to prove. We have to win something. We have to challenge. Then you build that in the dressing room, and you go from there. But they've got it. But
a lot of that comes from the boss, doesn't it? And Klopp's very good at that, geeing up his players and making it feel like a team, like a unit.
Yeah, absolutely. Klopp's brilliant. And, you know, I think we're lucky to have him. We're lucky that, you know, I think he wanted to come to Liverpool as much as we wanted him when we got him. And, you know, and it's been 6 years now. And when we did get him, I remember me and a lot of like my Liverpool mates were saying to each other that if this man can't win us the league, no one can.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if Klopp hadn't worked out, who comes after Klopp? Because we went and got the best there.
Yeah.
And, you know, United had a sniff round him. I think City did, Tottenham did, Arsenal did. You know, various other clubs at least had a bit of a chat with them. And Liverpool, where we were, our star had fallen a little bit by that point, do you know what I mean? And so we were lucky to get him. And he's turned it round. And, you know, as Andy says, we're now in a situation where we've got a dressing room full of winners. And, you know, that for a long, long time, that wasn't the case. I mean, one of the regular conversations we'd always have about Liverpool squads of the past was, well, how many of these lads have won the league? How many of these lads have won the European Cup? And then, therefore, they haven't got the nous to do it. They don't know how to get over the line. Well, we've got a dressing room full of them now. We've got a manager who's done it as well. And a manager who now knows what England's all about. I mean, look, when he first arrived, I think we drew with Exeter or something in the FA Cup, and he was getting interviewed after, and he was like, what? There's a replay? Do you know what I mean? He couldn't understand the amount of football that we play in this country. He's got his head around that now, and he rotates a bit more, which he didn't used to. And, you know, I think personally he would like a bigger squad as well. I mean, we don't hear about any unrest behind the scenes, but there's been little pointers, like I think, you know, when we went and got Kabak, and Davis when there was the crisis at centre-half. That was at the end of January.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted someone done at the start.
Yeah.
Because his thinking was, we're still in things here, we can still win things. And they prevaricated, they didn't do it, and then they ended up sort of shopping in Lidl at the end of the window, really. and Ben Davies has never played for Liverpool, and likelihood is he never will, the way things look. So, yeah, I think there's been one or two times where he's been disappointed with what they're doing upstairs, but overall, he brings everyone together. I think that's the crucial thing. I mean, you think about the end of Brendan's reign at Liverpool, and he got very political, and he was sort of throwing the owners under the bus, and he was briefing, and there was all that going on. And when that's happening at your club, there's something wrong. Whereas it feels together at Liverpool now. It feels like a club. It feels like they're all singing from the same hymn sheet, to use a cliche. And that's massive for when you're trying to challenge for the title.
Klopp's an interesting character, isn't he? Because he's not scared to talk about things outside of football.
No.
In press conferences, and I think that's quite important because football managers and football players, Marcus Rashford showed it at United. You do have a platform and you can use it for good if you want. What do the kind of fans make of Klopp talking about stuff?
Yeah, we love it because I think that for me there are only a few clubs that sort of are where the support is absolutely obsessive about their club. It's 24/7. It's year round. And I think we're like that. I think they're like that. I think there are other clubs to look at in the Premier League and abroad and what have you, where I think I'm not sure their supporters are like that. And so because of that, it puts a huge pressure on the manager because every single word that comes out of his mouth is analysed to the nth degree. And he's sort of got to represent the club, the city, the supporters, and he's got to always get that right. And that's a huge pressure and a hard thing to do. I think Klopp has always got it right. I mean, if you think about where sort of Liverpool voted in terms of Brexit, Klopp was voting, the same way and talked about it in the same way. He was brilliant the other day about vaccinations, I thought. And I think almost with Manchester United and Liverpool, I will put them together in this bracket where you almost have to be a football manager, but almost like a sort of political leader.
Spokesperson,
and Klopp is that.
Yeah.
He very rarely gets things wrong. And like even when, I remember when he took on Des Kelly that time when he was doing the stuff with BT Sport and he was saying, well, it's you that picks these kick-off times. When we've played in Europe and now we're playing at R12 on a Saturday. And obviously Des took him on and they're basically arguing on air. I remember a few people saying, well, he's got it wrong there. That wasn't very professional. He shouldn't have done that. Well, he's been vindicated since, hasn't he? Because they've stopped doing that now with the schedules. So I think he gets most things right. I think he's really good on the welfare of the players as well. And, he's literally working in football, making a fortune out of football, let's be honest here. And then also saying, there's too much football.
Yeah. We
need to look after these players. All the various governing bodies around the world need to start working together because this is a nonsense. Yeah. We're seeing the nonsense, but I know this is for the Man United game, but we're seeing the nonsense as we're recording this weekend coming, in that we won't be able to field some of our best players because they're not going to get back till Saturday morning or Friday night and stuff.
Same with us. We haven't got Cavani.
And it's mad.
Yeah.
Because
we haven't got Fred, which is a godsend.
Yeah.
But
in Spain, though, they're cancelling matches because of the same situation.
We've lost Varane because of a stupid Nations Cup, whatever, a silly tournament that nobody wanted.
Well, it happened in 3 Premier League players, didn't it, in Brazil, Argentina, where the Brazilian authorities went onto the pitch to detain the 3 Premier League players. And it's like, why are you even playing these games right now? Why are these players being sent across the world and they've got to come back and quarantine? What are you doing?
Madness.
Why is this all happening?
Yeah. No, it's like one rule for one rule for another.
Absolutely.
But he's right about Klopp. He's like an unofficial mayor of Liverpool. Yeah. He represents Liverpool, and I want to see some of that from Solskjaer representing Manchester as well. But you can only do that by challenging.
But it's
they had that with Ferguson, I would say as well. So Andy mentioned before at the very start about sort of growing up when Liverpool were winning everything. Unfortunately, I lived through the whole period where they were winning everything. And, I was genuinely up nights about Ferguson. I was like, when's this fella going to go? Because, you know what I mean?
I remember that feeling.
Because,
Liverpool were doing it all when I was a kid. Yeah. So it's vice versa.
But Ferguson was that. He was the absolute leader. He knew what the fans were about. He said the right things. And even when, he was spiky, as a fan, you love that your manager is spiky. Because that's how you feel. And
what a real person, don't you?
Yeah, and all the stuff about knocking us off the pitch and all that. I can, now that he's retired and he's gone, I can say the fellow was a genius.
Yeah.
But at the time when he was there, he was a nightmare for us. It was like, when's this fella going? He just keep late last minute goals, Fergie time, all of that. that's the psychology, you know. And this was before people talked about psychology. We all talk about it now. When Ferguson was doing it, we didn't really talk about it. But that's where he was brilliant. He was a leader, but then he also surrounded himself. You know, he constantly changed his number twos, didn't he? And got new ideas. And you know, again, looking back, genius. And I'm not sure when you're talking about Solskjaer before that he's got that. Do you know what I mean? I see him in press conferences and talking after games, and I'm like, I don't think he's just quite got that gravitas. Yeah,
I do want. That's the thing I think about Solskjaer. It's like I think he's done an all right job, and he's getting maybe 70% out of the team. But maybe Antonio Conte, just as an example, might get 100%. I think there's maybe another manager could get a little bit more. Yeah, Zizou, exactly. Yeah, and if you've got, there's an element, I suppose, and one of the things that worked for Zidane at Madrid was if you're a great player, you respect formerly great players. And I think if Cristiano Ronaldo's there, Paul Pogba's there, there's not much you can say to Zidane.
Martial, you would see a reaction if United replaced the manager next summer. I mean, but it's like Man United is now just like a shiny car just trudging along. Everyone's happy. We're not happy. We want to be on the F1. We want to be an F1 car right on the grid, ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm sick of being like at the back. I want to be at the front. It's what it is. They're doing it now, and all United fans want that. And I just want Solskjaer to succeed. I really do. But what United fans are questioning, you're entitled to question. I mean, I'm not saying Ollie out. I don't want Ollie to go, but what you're doing right, mate.
Yeah.
You've taken us to the door. It's up to you now and your core to push us through it.
Yeah.
And I want it. I really want him to succeed. But if he doesn't, then like questions are going to be asked at the end of the season.
Well, do you know what, Andy? Let's take a trip down memory lane. We touched on it a couple of times. What's your favourite United-Liverpool memory?
Was it 1996, Wembley, Eric Cantona? The game was so dull, so boring. But it was dire. I mean, Liverpool turned up like Spice Boys. I remember
the Spice Boys in the white suits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you call it? What was it? Robbie Fowler and all that.
Jamie Redknapp and David James. And
Spice Boys. Like Spice Girls at the time and very popular. But Eric Cantona, 4 minutes to go. The place just went bonkers. Yeah. Absolute bonkers.
So there you go, Gareth. What's yours?
It's hard to pin it down to one, really. I mean, we beat them in a League Cup final 2003, and it's always good to win in any final. We both said before that the League Cup's probably the lowest of everyone's priorities these days, but it's still a final, and it was in Cardiff, and it was them. So all of those things meant it was a really good day. But the one I'm going to say, if we're saying just one, is not that. I worked in Manchester for a decade, and so I mentioned before, I've got a lot of friends who were Manx, who were Man United fans, and obviously I was like, the only Scouse in the village, if you like. So like every time I walked into work, I was just getting permanent stick from United fans who at the time, were good, were winning everything, and Liverpool, well, less so.
Yeah.
And so a big one for me was 2000, go to Old Trafford, Danny Murphy scores a free kick. And it's the first time we'd won at Old Trafford in 10 years. And I think at the time they were unbeaten in about 2 years at home.
Yeah.
They were wiping the floor with everyone. And so for us to go there, not their match as a team really at the time, but Houllier set us up right. We nicked the goal, we sorted it out and we got the win. That was the first time in a long time that I was able to walk into that office in Manchester and be like, hello lads, how are we this morning? Do you know what I mean? Because it was always the other way around. I was having to come in and face a load of stick about bad Liverpool results. And that day, I got to hold my head up high in Manchester. So that was a lovely moment.
I can just imagine, right, there's some of the younger listeners are going to be pausing this podcast now, because if you've only ever seen Danny Murphy on Match of the Day, the thought of him scoring a free kick makes no sense. I've seen him play football, instead of part of me thinking, I'm going to have to go and look that goal up.
He scored twice.
Yeah,
he scored two winners at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he
did one in 2004 as well.
Yeah.
Old Trafford. So yeah, he's done it twice. I can vouch for that.
Yeah. So this is where things might get a little bit difficult. Let's do a combined 11. Let's do current teams, because I was thinking about this. So we've done it before with previous players. There's too many good previous players for United and Liverpool. I just don't think we'll ever agree. So
we'll be here all day.
Well, let's talk current teams, right? And we'll do a combined 11. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Andy, who would you pick?
I got on current form, De Gea, because he's like, since losing Europa League, He's been playing really well. He's made some fantastic saves last few games. So I will go with De Gea. Henderson's like, he's dropped off the pace. He's had COVID. So I'll go with De Gea.
De Gea over Alisson, right? Okay, so I'm guessing you're saying Alisson?
I'm saying Alisson because, De Gea doesn't score goals for a start. Alisson does. But no, Alisson's been absolutely brilliant for us and central to us winning things. He's been in good form this season as well. So yeah, I'm picking Alisson.
Yeah, it was a special moment for Alisson when he scored that goal.
That's unbelievable.
I could understand that because he lost his father as well. That was a really special moment, and I say it touched me as well. It was really nice.
And keeper going up for a corner is one of the best things. When you're in the ground, you're like, I can't believe I'm seeing it. When they score, that's just
exactly.
insanity.
Very rarely you see it though.
It doesn't really happen, does it? Every couple of years, because everyone will look at it on Twitter or whatever.
Schmeichel got one, didn't he?
Schmeichel got one in the UEFA Cup. Jimmy Glass for Carlisle.
Jimmy Glass, yeah.
1999, he's the one I remember.
Yeah.
He kept some Carlisle in the
But it was
Football
how
League.
good the goal was as well.
Yeah.
There's loads of things catching the wind and going over people's heads. I think Paul Robinson scored one like that.
Over Ben Foster, yeah.
Jimmy Glass is his quality, to be fair, but it was the quality of the header. Leapt like a salmon, put it right in the corner.
Maybe it's Stoke City goalkeeper scored against Reading in the Premier League as well. I remember that.
Yeah.
Was it after 43 seconds?
If I've got the casting vote, just because of the way modern football's played in the distribution, I probably am going to go Alisson.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Andy. Right back, I'd say as well, would be pretty easy for me. Gareth, who would you go for?
Trent.
Yeah.
I think Trent's been absolutely brilliant for us. I think there's far too much talk about that the lad can't defend, whereas I don't believe that is the case. I think the way Liverpool's set up, it's risky how they set up, and they're asking Trent to get forward, to create goals, and he's currently one of the best in the league at doing that. In terms, Liverpool expect there to be a gap there, and other teams try and exploit it, and most times it doesn't work. But equally, when they can exploit it and they do score, often it tends to be from that side. But it's because Trent's way up the pitch,
Yeah.
So I'm never worried about that chat, and I think a little bit as well with all the the fuss about Southgate not picking him. I know he eventually gets injured, but I think that's led to a little bit of disrespect around the name of him because he's done absolutely brilliant for us. He's been superb, he's been consistent. He's had a little injury this season, but he's back this weekend. He's been really good for us so far. He's another one. We mentioned Mo and how he's looking so far this season. Trent, similar. He's looking really on it, really at it, and he can influence a game. He's sort of, for me, like he's a right back nominally. But he's more De Bruyne-esque in terms of how he can dictate the game and his delivery at times. Yeah, so it's Wan-Bissaka, isn't it, for them? Who I would say Andy might do this. He might argue he is a better old school right back, and I would get that argument. But I don't reckon you're getting what you get off Trent going the other way.
Yeah, Andy,
I would say Wan-Bissaka's his only downside. He's good at tackling. They call him Spider-Man at Old Trafford. He's good at tackling, but he's not very good going forward at the moment.
No.
And that's the only downside to his game.
I always thought he'd made a good centre-back, to be fair.
It varies and he needs competition maybe. United were linked with Fury in the summer for his position. What was it? He played for Tottenham. He's at Madrid now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Trippier.
Trippier. He had a good Euros as well. So we'll have to see him. Hopefully he'll progress and learn from his game. He's been here for 2.5 years now. So he's got better his game. Just going forward, that's it, and delivery.
So you happy to put Trent in it?
Yeah,
right
I'm
back?
happy to put Trent.
There we go. We've got 2 Liverpool players so far, but Andy potentially left back. Luke Shaw getting in there, do you think?
Oh yeah, because he's had a blinding Euros in the summer and he's been playing well. And I saw the goal. I saw him playing Wednesday against Hungary, and one of the balls he put in, it was just like watching the Euros. Harry Kane couldn't get on the end of it, but so when Sterling was on the end against Germany, going forward, Luke Shaw.
So I'm guessing you're going to say Andy Robertson, Gareth.
I mean, I talked before about respect on the name, and I think there needs to be respect on the name of Luke Shaw, to be fair, because there was a time where he was almost like a joke figure. I think Mourinho, the way he managed them and treated them was awful.
Yeah, bullying.
And essentially, you know, he became one of those footballers that we're all laughing at. You know, if you don't support United, you're like, oh yeah, he's got too much weight on him. He's this, he's that, he's the other. So that must have been really difficult psychologically to come back from. And he's done it, and he's playing well. And he did play well in the Euros. I will take that on board. But the problem with ever doing these, you know, combined sides is, well, I obviously see everything from a Liverpool perspective. He sees everything from a United perspective. And from a Liverpool perspective, Andy Robbo's brilliant for us. You know, he's the heart of the team. I know he's Scottish, but for me, he almost adds a Scouseness to the team in terms of his passion. You know, it's constantly there. He's ever present. You know, he's played virtually every game he could have done for the past sort of 2-3 seasons for Liverpool. And it's only now finally with the emergence of Simicast that he's starting to get a little rest here and there. So for all of those reasons, I would go Robertson. I think he's consistently at least 7 out of 10, and often you get more than that. And I think, you know, you think about that moment against Man City where he sort of kept closing people down, and he ended up right up the pitch, and the crowd are all off the feet and spurring him on. That sums him up for me. And that's not to say that's all he's about, because he can whip a great ball in. And by his own admission, he wants a few more goals, and maybe this is the season to do it. But I can't not pick him because I love the man so much.
What? I like Andy Robertson, but I think Luke Shaw, it's a redemption story. It is, and Luke Shaw's
getting
in
there at left back
for me. Fair. Gareth, who would your centre-back partnership be?
I mean, it's got to be Van Dijk's got to be there 100%. I can't see that anyone, no matter who they support, would be picking anyone else, because he's been outstanding, and he's been outstanding for us, and he's really spurred us on. You saw how much we missed them, you saw how much we dropped off, and equally you're starting to see how much we lifted them back in the side. So Van Dijk 100%. I don't particularly, you know, it's early really to be judging Varane, for instance, at United, because I know what he's done elsewhere, but I want to see what he's like on the regular in the Premier League, because it's a different kettle of fish. I haven't really seen enough of him really to be judging. So obviously I'm going to go, you know, double it on Liverpool really and say that. What I'm going to say here though is I honestly think Joel Matip is one of the most underrated players in the league.
No chance for Harry Maguire?
I'm not having him, you know. I mean, I get that he improves them at the back. And if he's injured when we play them, which is looking likely, I will be glad, because he tightens them up an awful lot. But honestly, like people aren't watching Liverpool week in, week out. I am. Like Joel Matip's probably not on many people's lips, I don't think, but he's absolutely brilliant, Joel Matip, you know.
If we've got any French or Spanish listeners, they're going to be going nuts if Varane doesn't get a mention.
No, Andy will argue the case. Andy will argue the case for him.
I mean, I've seen glimpses of Varane this season, and he's really played well. He's made some match-winning tackles. He did one against Wolves, basically, stops a goal. And to lose him now, it's a blow. And we are basically, we are in trouble now. We've got no Maguire, no Varane coming up. Now we've got Lindelof and Bayer. So hit the booze on match day for that. But so
nothing's bad when you're 3 pints deep. That's fine. Yeah.
No, but it's Varane. It's something there, but it's promising. But if you've noticed, I've noticed that somebody mentioned it to me the other week against against Villa. He's got little legs. I never noticed. he's got like matchstick legs. But he's there's promise there for
It's like Pickford with his little arms. Once you notice it,
he can't stop.
It's a thing, yeah.
No, but I never noticed it. And then somebody said he's got little legs. It's like, what?
I love that. He's won 4 Champions Leagues, a World Cup. It's like, I can't pick him today because he's seen his legs.
But it's like, but I would go with Varane because I've seen promise there, and it's just a shame he's injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Hopefully it's just short term, like Maguire as well. Luke Shaw was injured recently and came back straight away, so we need to settle back forward as soon as possible.
I've got to say, I think Varane and Van Dijk sounds fair to me. That sounds like a classy centre-back partnership as well.
Yeah, go on.
Andy, I say we play 4-3-3, it's modern football. Who would you put in the midfield 3?
I put Pogba only because of his ability. You know he can do it. Last few years he's been very quiet, but you see he has his moments. I mean, Graham Souness is, I don't know what he What has he got against him? I really don't know.
Hates him.
I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not Pogba's biggest fan, but as long as you're doing it on the pitch, that's all I want to see now. Yeah. And with this contract, it's just like a soap opera, a northern soap opera on the cobbles. I'm just getting sick of it, and I just want to see him doing it on the pitch, and because that's what I want to see him win stuff. I mean, maybe he'll stay if he wins stuff, help us to win. I'll go with Pogba.
So Pogba's definitely in there. Do you reckon maybe Fernandes?
Got to have Fabinho in there.
Okay.
You got to have Fabinho as the man sitting, because I think he's one of, if not the best in the league at doing that. Because he's superb there. He's what were you saying? You called Wan-Bissaka before. What's his nickname there?
Spider-Man.
Well, he's similar Fabinho in that he's always in the right place at the right time. A long leg will come out and just nick something. And Andy might be thinking, I remember he gave a free kick away at Old Trafford. Yes, so do I. But let's gloss over that. He was playing centre half that day. If you put him in his proper position, defensive midfield, I think he's right up there. He's really good, and he can get forward. He can score the odd goal as well. He's another one who this season's looking in good form, although he looked a little bit knackered last time out, so he needs a little kip somewhere along the way. But yeah, 100% Fabinho, been brilliant for Liverpool. I think it's Fabinho that they call him behind the scenes the lighthouse, because I think that was Pep Linders that called him that, because everything else is sort of built around him, and he's this beacon in the middle of the park. So I don't know what we're creating this team to do, and I don't know who we're playing against. But I reckon if you stuck Fabinho defensive midfield, that's a good start for everything else that goes on around it.
One of the many reasons I'm not a professional football manager, because my instinct is to just go Pogba, Fernandes, Thiago. That's it. So don't worry about defending.
Yeah, no one's winning the ball.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's the Harry Redknapp school of management. Just outscore them. Look, some seriously good players in the midfield. Let's talk about the front three. So I think you probably know two of them, Ronaldo and Salah. I'm guessing. Who would be the third man in that front three, Gareth, if you agree with Ronaldo at all?
I mean, we've talked a few times about, or I've talked a few times already on this, about respect on the name. I don't think Sadio Mane gets the respect that he deserves, because I get that he had a bit of a blip and by his own standards wasn't quite where he should have been last season. But I think he still scores 17, I think, last season. And when he's on it, he's right up there. He's so difficult to deal with. He's like an angry wasp. He'll keep getting up. He'll keep coming at you. You know, he's strong. He's physical. He can score. He's decent in the air. He can score different types of goals, and he never stops going. He plays on anger. There's been lots of times where all the amateur psychologists come out and say, he was angry with Salah there because Salah didn't pass to him, so those two mustn't get on. I think they do get on. But he does get angry with them in the game. Those two things can exist together. So I love watching Sadio play football, because again, a bit like Robertson, I want to see passion in a player. I want to see anger. I want to see them desperate to win and for them to be hurt when they don't. And I think you see all of that from Sadio. He's got it. He's definitely got it. And I guess we've got to stick Ronaldo in there, haven't we, because of his record. He probably won't do nothing in the game, but then he'll pop up and score the winner for this weird Frankenstein's monster side.
If you supply him, the goals will come.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Mo will do all his work for him.
And then Ronnie sticks it away.
And then he'll score from 2 yards.
They can both take their shirts off and compare. Yeah. Who's the third man? You happy with Mane?
I'm going for a young lad who's hungry. He's just coming back from his injury, and he's had a big summer, Marcus Rashford. Yeah. Because he's got a point to prove, and I hope he wants to prove it. I mean, he's been fighting.
Of course, he was going green, wasn't
he? He's been fighting for the kids. He's been fighting politicians, but now you got the biggest fight of them all. You've got to start winning. He's coming into his peak years. He's 24, Marcus Rashford. He's only won an FA Cup, Europa League and a League Cup. He's going to have to be wanting winning something. He wants to win. He's a winner. Yeah. And I want to see Marcus Rashford deliver, and I think he will.
In this fantasy
point
team,
to prove.
I think I might stick Rashford in, because I think it would be good for our then fantasy England team if we're spreading it out. Rashford, Mane.
Where are we going with this side?
I know.
All I'm saying, I think we'll put Klopp in as the manager. All I'm saying is Varane and Van Dijk have got a lot of work to do, because nobody else in that team can defend. So
I think Rashford would get into a Liverpool side.
I like Rashford.
Yeah,
Good player.
I think
player.
you would. There's some Liverpool players we're getting to United, like Salah,
Yeah.
Fabinho, yeah, definitely.
Well,
And I
listen,
like Greenwood as well, by the way.
while we get ready to put this fantasy team together, that's all we've got time for. Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gareth, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Right, thank you very much, guys. And don't forget, thank you for tuning in to the latest Derby Days podcast. Make sure to download the We Love Sport app to book your place to catch Manchester United versus Liverpool this weekend, and all the best sporting action.